He's the shove-it man, oh he's the shove-it man. He's gonna shove it, yeah, he's gonna shove it, man.
Alright, it's The Hawk. It's episode 77 and 78 of NWA TNA from 2004. It's a show I have really been struggling with, which is why I haven't done this series in a while. It is truly one of the worst rosters of all time, and the show is mostly hateable, and it ain't debatable. This one starts with Eric Watts and Goldilocks and AJ Styles in a car park. What an exciting start to the show. I can't wait to watch another 2 hours of this. I couldn't even hear what they said anyway. We cut to a wild slapnuts.
Jeff Jarrett.
He is feeling a bit overworked lately and he's stressed. He speaks to somebody on the phone called Tom Sr. who seems to have some sort of power in TNA. First time he's been mentioned. He and Jarrett run through the game plan for tonight. Then there's a video package using the Macho Man song Are You Ready? I'm ready to go to sleep. There's new match graphics which look horrible and cheap. The Sandman doesn't even have a proper graphic. It looks so unprofessional. Jarrett is fighting backstage with a masked man who appeared at the end of last week's show. They fight out to the ring where we learn that the masked man is El Leon. This was a wrestler called Apollo who TNA tried to make work many times over the years. He hits a nice side slam to Jarrett before the red shirt security save him. They beat on him for a bit before El Leon escapes. Mike Tenay reminds Jarrett that 2 weeks in a row the masked man has beaten him up. Everybody is screaming and frothing at the mouth. The audience look a mixture of confused and bored. Then somebody in the crowd loudly swears at Jarrett and it has to be bleeped out. JB desperately screams that it's time for a rawhide strap match. It's going to be America's Most Wanted taking on the red shirt security. For most of the match, it feels like they forgot about the gimmick because they don't even touch the straps. James Storm is just out here trying to wrestle. He hits a Hurricanrana on Legend, but the red shirts are known cheaters and known morons. Kevin Northcutt remembers that the straps exist and hits just one shot before stopping. The red shirts fail on a spike pile driver and Storm catapults them. He has the chance to tag out, but instead he's running around and hitting throws. When Chris Harris does get the tag, he fully embraces the strap gimmick. He strips Northcutt's shirt so the leather rawhide can hurt him more. Harris almost wins it with the spear. Then they almost win again with Chris Harris doing a sharpshooter while Storm rains down on shots on Northcutt. Just after that it ends to a James Storm superkick. The red shirts are bad losers and they try to hang Harris. Storm frees him but gets double teamed. Once again the red shirts fail on a spike pile driver and it's all over. I would be surprised if anyone on this roster is full-time making more than $100,000 a year. It's a very weak roster with almost zero star power. We get a recap of Ultimate X last week. It was actually pretty nice and Chris Sabin won. These highlights go on for a very long time with black and white grainy images of Sabin. The production values are really slacking on this show. Shawn Michaels' cousin, Michael Shane, is interviewed about being in a triple threat match tonight. He doesn't care about his injured arm and he says he's going to get the X Division title back. Shane Douglas says he only lost because of politics. Tracy is a very good actress. She looks at Shane Douglas like she's in love with him. We all know that isn't possible. That triple threat X Division match is up now. It's the Warrior Loki versus Daniels. His nickname is now apparently the Lord of the Ring. He takes on Shawn Michaels' cousin. The two former Triple X members brawl. Like a dumbass, Shane chooses to break up the brawl. They just keep on ignoring him. Shame this isn't a singles match, it would probably be better. Shane throws them together in the corner and hits Key with a released Northern Lights. Daniels kicks him down and goes back to fighting Loki. Randomly a box appears with the Sandman walking around and smoking and looking for Raven. Michael Shane throws the two bold boys out the ring at each other. Crisp Sabin is intently watching this match to see who his next opponent will be. He looks very clean and healthy, which is a rarity on this show. Shane keeps sending them together. He controls the match for ages. The audience are in silence. I think they're bored. Daniels and Loki decide to work together to take Shane out with a spinebuster springboard kick. That fires the Warrior up, who chops Shane's chest off. Now Daniels holds Shane so Loki can keep kicking him. Predictably, Loki kicks Daniels' head off. There's a pretty cool move now that the crowd don't even bother to acknowledge. Shane throws key at Daniels who catches his foot and Loki fires backwards with a kick using his free leg. Impressive. Nice rolling kick from Loki now. Just put the belt on this guy, for God's sake, he's the only person anyone cares about in this crowd. Then Loki does that back kick again, but this time he rolls Shane into an armbar. It almost works, but he's just too close to the ropes. Daniels is back now and he crushes Key with a backbreaker. Christopher Daniels takes Key down and locks him in a submission, which is instantly broken up by Shane with the flying elbow drop. Shane hits an implant DDT with the commentary team deciding to skip to a recap. Daniels and Shane then exchange pinning attempts until Daniels hits the Angel's wings. Loki breaks up the pin. Daniels and Loki now fight on the top rope. Shane shoves Daniels out of the ring, which looked painful. There's a much worse one to come in this video though. He sends Loki into the turnbuckles and tries to hit the sweet chin music. Loki blocks that and hits another rolling kick. He keeps going with a cartwheel kick into the corner. Shane Douglas decides to come out and ruin the match, and Loki turns around into a sweet chin music to give Michael Shane the win. Pretty fun match, and Loki, he is criminally underrated by TNA. He's the only one this crowd care about, and seriously, Michael Shane is the number one contender once again. It feels like Saban and Shane have been fighting over that belt for months. In the back, Scotty 2 Hotty meets with representatives from AAA. They are excited to announce a new talent sharing deal. The Mexican talents are apparently very excited to be wrestling in America, and they'll be competing in the upcoming World X Cup. The guy in the black is actually a very good talker, probably better than half the TNA roster. Now we're forced to watch some more grainy, poor quality footage from AAA. This goes on for ages. A miserable Jeremy Borash is in the ring and he announces an internal problems match. The gifted Glenn Gilberti, say it with me, how is he gifted, will be the referee for whatever this match is supposed to be. It's the master of the cab driver slam, David Young, taking on the Diamond Man. God, this roster sucks. Imagine paying to watch David Young versus Simon Diamond with Glenn Gilberti as the referee. But first, gifted Glenn will cut a promo. He says they are here to solve their group's problems. The loser of this match will be kicked out of their stupid group. Young wants to shake hands, but Diamond slaps his hand away, so Young slaps him in the face. An enraged Diamond Man spears him. Simon Diamond then sends Young into the corner and hits a Russian leg sweep for a 2. Diamond moves on to beat him up on the outside of the ring for a while. Back in the ring, Young hits a low blow. David Young kicks him in the head. Once again, this crowd sound bored. Well, it is heel versus heel. Does anyone really care about who gets kicked out of this group? Young hits a short arm clothesline. He mounts Diamond with punches. Gilberti apparently isn't happy with that aggression. Diamond rolls him up with Gilberti slow counting. I'm not sure if it was deliberate or he was just gorming out. For no reason at all, David Young gets a steel chair. Gilberti doesn't let him use it. David Young is dominating this match. The crowd wearily chant, "Let's go Simon." Probably the only time in TNA this guy was cheered. Young misses a moonsault and he's almost rolled up by the Diamond Man. We get a double down after Simon's superkick. Back on their feet, Simon tries the Simon series, which Young breaks up with his own suplex. David Young attempts another dive where Simon makes him fall in his nutsack. Diamond hits a Frankensteiner and it should be over, but instead Gilberti takes that Diamond with the chart topper. David Young wins the match. I really wasn't expecting that. Johnny Swinger is enraged about this. Gilberti and the cabbie escape. So are these two teams feuding now? I can't imagine being excited about this feud. In the back, Scott Hudson is desperately banging on Jarrett's jail cell door. Slapnuts is in a poor mood because of the masked man earlier. He tells Kid Cash that he's got to take out Chris Vaughn tonight. Shane Douglas is back. Don't you just love going from a match with Simon Diamond to Shane Douglas? They basically feel like the same people to me. He's facing Elix Skipper, who flips into the ring, which is the highlight of the show so far. Skipper does a nice front flip back kick to zero reaction. Douglas throws him into the turnbuckle to stop him. Sandman is in a car park spraying beer about. Douglas connects for a delayed front suplex and a neck snapper. Shane Douglas looks like a burnt crab. Skipper tries to fight back but can't, and Douglas hits a TKO. Skipper is really selling his neck now. We get a double down from a wacky spin kick. Skipper is dumb and gets distracted by Tracy Brooks. Douglas sneaks up and hits the Jericho facebuster into a full Nelson stretch. Skipper taps out. Douglas won't let go and Loki has to come to his aid. The new franchise beat up the two X Division dorks. This goes on for a while until Christopher Daniels comes to his former teammate's aid. Skipper begs for Daniels and Loki to make up, but Warrior won't do it. In the back, AJ Styles has his little trophy. He is Mr. TNA 2003. He wants a shot at Jarrett's world title, but first he teams up with Eric Watts tonight. They are the dream team. Now it's a video package hyping up how Kid Cash has been getting signatures for wrestlers to join Jarrett's army. Apparently it's not going so well. Out he comes for his exciting match against security guard Chris Vaughn. I did enjoy Kid Cash slapping and beating on Tiny the Timekeeper. Cash has been trying to force him to sign, but he keeps failing in his mission. Vaughn hits some springboard moves until Kid Cash hits a vicious shoulder breaker. Vaughn does manage to kick out, but probably wishes he hadn't as Cash lights him up with chops. Vaughn keeps trying to come back, but he's too much of a jobber and Cash keeps shutting him down. Kid Cash busts him open as Vaughn pulls faces which makes him look like a fish out of water. Vaughn is still alive though, and he clotheslines Cash and hits a spinning back elbow, followed by a neck breaker and a lion salt for a 2. They fight on the top rope where Cash hits a top rope body slam. Pretty cool, I don't remember seeing that before. Kid Cash finishes him off with the Moneymaker. I like that match, but why are we watching Kid Cash versus a security guard? Do we really care if Chris Vaughn signs up to Jarrett's army? I can't imagine he'd be much of a recruit. Cash uses Vaughn's red liquid to sign the contract. Then, Tiny the Timekeeper rushes the ring. He ends up topless. Gee, thanks for burning my eyes, TNA. He beats up Kid Cash. A morbidly obese, out-of-shape ogre with no athletic pedigree is beating up Kid Cash, a wrestler. Eventually, Cash does manage to take him out, but he's saved by one of the Harris boys who was also in security. The red shirt security returned to fight the black shirt security. You've got a real shit show right here. This is why I'm struggling with this series. I can't watch the pointless security feud, which has been going on for months now, and it eats up so much damn TV time. This roster sucks Sonny Siaki's ass, man. James, Mitchell and the Gathering in a pitch black room threaten Raven. These video packages are so poorly produced that they look like they were shot in the early 90s. Raven is sat in a four-cornered room staring at the candles. But no, it's not Raven, it's Father James Mitchell who brags about outsmarting Raven and taking CM Punk and Dinero from Raven. He moves on to threaten Sandman and says as Raven isn't here tonight, it's going to be a handicap match. CM Punk says tonight they will make an example out of him. That match is next, except it's a double single paw cane match. The Gathering versus the Sandman. They play Raven's music despite spending the last 10 minutes establishing that Raven isn't even here. Sandman seems aware of this too. Hack does pretty well for a while, beating the Gathering up around the ring. He gets Punk in the ring, humps his head and nails the Frankensteiner. That gives Julio a brief opening until he tries to get a cane and Sandman throws him out of the ring. Punk is feeling better now and he hits a Shining Wizard. He falls on his nutsack though and Sandman tries to get a cane. Julio powerbombs the Sandman instead. And now it resembles the handicap match that I was expecting. They hit the side slam diving elbow drop combination. The Gathering both have canes, so it's not looking good for the Sandman who is caned back and forth. He suddenly no-sells a shot and gives Punk a white Russian leg sweep. Julio gets one too. Sandman canes him in the head time and time again, but he only gets a 2 count. The Sandman then gets distracted by James Mitchell and the Gathering beat him with a double super kick. It was actually really fun while it lasted, but it was too damn short. Predictably, they give the Sandman a post-match beating. The 3 dorkiest security guards ever make the save. These 3 friends will need a punch to the gut. In the back, Eric Watts is looking homeless. He warns Goldilocks to stay in the back tonight whilst he takes care of business. She refuses and is offended that he asked her to do that. She thinks this means that Watts is breaking up with her. How did she get to that conclusion? Everyone looks confused about this. Back in the ring, the Sandman is screaming for Raven. He looks like complete trash. He says because Raven has not turned up, he's going to go and get Balls Mahoney. The commentary team are shocked by this sudden increase in star power on their roster. Just the main event left, but first the Slapnuts interview. He says the face of TNA wrestling is about to change. Okay, so does that mean Jarrett's quitting TNA? No, he's apparently talking about Eric Watts being the face of TNA. He reminds Abyss that he needs to come through in the match tonight. They want to finish off Eric Watts. The stipulation for this match is that if Eric Watts doesn't win the match, he will be fired from his position of authority. Styles looks very happy for this matchup. Abyss never looks happy, unlike Slappy. AJ Styles and Abyss are doing some fun stuff, but the cameraman prefers to focus on Eric Watts and Jeff Jarrett. We get a brief respite from that to see AJ standing on Abyss's back going into a Hurricanrana. Watts throws AJ at Abyss, who eventually hits a Tornado DDT. AJ and Abyss always had good chemistry. Jarrett avoids a dropkick and does the strut. Bad move because AJ drop kicks him. It's good when AJ and Abyss are in there. Thankfully that's quite frequently too because the heels choose to isolate Styles. I just can't get over how scruffy Eric Watts looks for this main event. He's literally written DOA, Director of Authority, on his raggy Gen Z jeans. Watts gets the tag and he chokes Sam Slappy. The pin is broken up as the match breaks down. Styles hits a beautiful flip dive out of the ring onto the Abyss. Eric Watts causes one of the most dramatic ref bumps of all time. Love that one. Slapnuts hits Watts with his title. As the ref does his count, AJ desperately crawls at him, but he's too weak to stop the count. It's a 3. Mike Tenay screams at the referee and says Jarrett hit him with the bell. Bill Behrens from the NWA board also yells at the referee. God, there's so many damn authority figures on this show. The match is restarted. Jarrett chokes out Tenay, who dumps in his nappy of fear. Everyone is screaming. My head hurts. El Leon jumps Jeff Jarrett. Watts chokeslams Abyss and AJ hits a springboard 450. Shockingly, it's just a 2. Now we get a meeting of the minds as AJ does a springboard. Goldilocks gets in the ring, but she actually smacks Abyss in the slash zone. Watts cutters him across the ropes and AJ wins the sunset flip. How come when Jarrett cheats the match is restarted but not when Goldilocks interferes? I don't like inconsistency. Don Callis throws a complete tantrum in the ring. Eric Watts says that if Callis overturns AJ Styles' title shot, he will quit TNA. I'm so confused. Isn't that what they want to happen anyway? Jarrett then screams next week Johnny Fairplay is here and Watts can kiss his job goodbye. What a strange ending to the show, it doesn't make sense. God damn it, this is crying out for some star power. It feels like they've been spinning their wheels for months with the Authority storyline just going on and on. I might regret this, but let's watch another episode. The entire crowd are chanting ICP with Eric Watts in the ring. You can barely hear what he has to say. Apparently he's going face to face with Don Callis for full control of the company. He moves on to talk about the World X Cup. Watts promises that he's bringing back one of the greatest X Division wrestlers of all time and outwalks Jerry Lynn to captain Team TNA. Pretty good return right there. This causes the crowd to stop chanting ICP for a moment. Jerry Lynn's promo sucks, so I can barely hear him. The crowd get bored and start chanting ICP again. Before anything else can be said, Kid Cash interrupts him. He calls ICP painted whores. Kid Cash makes fun of Jerry Lynn for being sent home for 5 months. Cash reminds Jerry Lynn that Watts could have brought him back to TNA sooner, but he didn't do it. He does respect Jerry Lynn and tries to convince him to join Jarrett's side of the war. Didn't Jarrett and Don Callis push for Lynn to be fired in the first place? They all wronged him, really. Cash calls Watts and NWA complete trash. Kid Cash then reveals that Lynn got him a job in TNA. He says when TNA lose the X Cup, Jerry Lynn will just be sent home again. He wants Lynn to sign up to Jarrett's army to guarantee him a job. This promo goes on for a surprisingly long amount of time. Cash says if he doesn't sign, he will kick Lynn's ass. Jerry chooses to deck Kid Cash with a clipboard. Cash and Lynn fight for a while, but none of the 50 security guards on this show bother to break it up. Jerry Lynn eventually deals with Cash on his own. Pretty happy with this overall, and if these two are going to feud, you can bet your ass that match will be good. A private jet is shown, which is apparently for Johnny Fairplay. I love how they've stuck a TNA sticker on it, as if they had their own private jet. Jarrett gets on the phone to check that Callis and Watts really do have to fight next week. I have no idea who these random people are that Jarrett keeps calling. So many authority figures on these shows. Kid Cash walks into Jarrett's room. Jarrett randomly says Cash better get a signature from Sonny Don't Look at His Ass Siaki. Why is that so important? He hasn't even been seen on the show lately. I'll take the laugh though. The opening match will be Julio De Niro and CM Punk versus the Sandman. Look at those girls, they really want some of Sandman's beer. And his partner is Balls Mahoney. The camera cuts away from his entrance straight away because the Gathering are flying. Balls actually looks okay here. The ECW guys share a beer for old time's sake. They turn around into kicks from the Gathering. It doesn't matter though, and Balls hits Julio with a sit-out spinebuster. The Sandman gives Punk a Frankensteiner and Balls does a top rope splash to Punk. It might be over already if it wasn't for Julio to go on full Karate Kid mode. As the match moves along, Punk and Balls try to do something, but they can't manage whatever it was. Julio takes out the Sandman with a baseball slide, and then Balls takes out Punk with a crossbody out the ring. When they return to the ring, Sandman does a front suplex across the ropes as he flies off the ropes for chair guillotine leg drop. That's just a 2 count. Sandman's dominance is stopped by a Punk springboard dropkick. They hit him with a steel chair. Balls takes the chair, but Punk kicks it into his face. Punk and Julio hit him with the side slam diving elbow drop, and just like that, it's over. You know what, it was a fun match, even if Balls looks a bit rusty, and the Gathering are getting some decent build-up as heels. They're about to use thumbtacks on someone when a poorly produced audio clip of Raven's music plays. Then he's talking and it sounds terrible and strange. That gives the Sandman time to wake up and use his cane. Balls Mahoney would not be seen again in TNA for 6 years. In the back, Gifted Glenn is making fun of Diamond and Swinger. He says he gave them all their opportunities in TNA and without them they would be picking Jersey fishermen's asses. Gilberti says they aren't a cohesive unit because one of them has pledged loyalty to Jeff Jarrett and the other one hasn't. Oh, he's really sowing the seeds there, very edgy Gilberti. Young and Gilberti come out now. I can't help but wonder where this storyline is even going. Why would Disco want to align himself with the cabbie that he's been bullying for months and he didn't want him to hang out with them? They face Diamond and Swinger, the turds in the toilet. They take out the cabbie of a flapjack. Now Young is hit with a double team. I was surprised he was able to kick out. Diamond Man avoids a cab driver slam and gives Young a Simon series. Gilberti causes a distraction, and there it is, cab driver slam. The cab driver slam is over. No, it's not actually. The crowd are bored by Gilberti and they're more interested in doing insane clown posse stuff. The Gifted cab drivers do a drop toe hold into an elbow drop. The cabbie hits a middle rope moonsault for a 2. Don West points out that if he hadn't botched it, it might have ended the match. This was one of Don West's weaknesses in his early TNA commentary career. He'd often point out and highlight mistakes when he shouldn't have been. Gifted Glenn misses a middle rope knee drop and the tag is made to Swinger. They ping pong Glenn back and forth with punches. Then they get a double team flatliner. It's not going well for the Gifted cab drivers. David Young is beaten by the Problem Solver. This wasn't a bad match, but the crowd was so distracted. I ask once again though, where the hell is this feud going? We cut to the crowd where Kid Cash is dragging Jeff Jarrett's granny through the crowd. I was actually worried for her health with the way Kid Cash is wrenching on her head. They choke each other out in the ring. This is crazy. Cash forces her to sign allegiance to Jeff Jarrett. The man to come to his rescue is not AJ Styles, it's not Eric Watts, and it's not America's Most Wanted. Instead, it's Tiny the Timekeeper. He once again takes off his shirt. They stall for a while before Chris Vaughn saves the old lady. Cash hits him with the clipboard and David Young hits the cab driver slam. The granny is still in the ring. There's room for one more hero in this storyline, and the big hero is Don Harris. Don't you just love him? It's like John Cena whenever he turns up. Being serious, couldn't they find somebody else for this spot? Wait, where the fuck has Jerry Lynn gone? Why wasn't it him? In the back, a Hummer has pulled up with some escorts. One of them is dragged back into the car. Somewhere else backstage, Sonny Siaki is taking a dump, but he doesn't want Trinity looking at his ass. Kid Cash is also here. He asks Siaki to sign his clipboard. Siaki refuses. They keep sliding it back and forth. Siaki emerges and says he's been advised not to sign anything. Trinity does sign it for some reason. More from them now. Siaki yells at Trinity for signing. He wants her to stay away from him because he's facing D'Lo Brown tonight. It was relieving to hear Sonny's music after so long. D'Lo looks like he hasn't worked out for a while. These two have had some good matches in the past. After D'Lo dominates for a bit, Siaki hits a Hangman's Neckbreaker. He stops a D'Lo comeback with a super kick for a 2. D'Lo comes back at him with a hard spinebuster and a diving clothesline. The basement clothesline gets D'Lo a 2. Big swinging side slam for D'Lo now for another 2. Trinity appears at ringside. Man, I've missed her. Siaki leaves the ring to argue with her because he's a moron. He brings a chair into the ring and D'Lo promptly kicks it back into his face. The ref stops D'Lo from using the chair and this distracts the ref. Trinity dives on D'Lo with a tornado DDT, which is just a 2. D'Lo then reverses the Siaki lips and he beats Siaki with the Sky High. Not as good as their other matches. Now Kid Cash is back. Don West screams, "We've seen enough of this guy." Pretty accurate. He still wants Siaki to sign his stupid clipboard. Why would they want the man who lost the match to sign the clipboard? They argue for a while. Siaki eventually tosses the clipboard away. This causes them to fight. Trinity stops Siaki by kicking his head off. Cash hits Siaki with a shoulder breaker and Trinity lands a moonsault. Everybody is in shock, but Trinity is once again seemingly aligning herself with Kid Cash. In the back, it's Slapnuts, Cowass and the red shirt Burks. He tells them all that they need to win the tag belts. Trinity walks into a round of applause. She says she's loyal to Jeff Jarrett but wants nothing to do with Kid Cash. Cowass rushes off to find Johnny Fairplay. The next match is a tag team match between the New Franchise and Triple X. It's hard to care. I find the New Franchise the most boring team in existence, other than the red shirts of course. Shane Douglas is boring, Michael Shane is overrated, and since being aligned with Shane Douglas, Shane has lost most of his matches. So many pointless tag teams in this company. Even ICP looked bored during this one. It goes on forever and it's a waste of time minus some Elix Skipper spots. This match does feature one of the scariest spots I have ever seen. Tracy thinks it's a good idea to climb onto the top rope and try to stop Skipper from diving Douglas through some chairs. Michael Shane pushes them both off the top and through the chairs, and the noise that Tracy makes is disturbing.
This is crazy! Oh my God! Did you see Douglas get out of the way? Oh, just in time, but Tracy, leave him somebody! Talk about taking...
So yeah, not great. Daniels hits last rites on Michael Shane, but no referee. Shane Douglas smacks Daniels out of a chain and the ref wakes up to count the 3. This match caused Tracy Brooks to break her arm. I hope you're happy, TNA. Was it worth it? A complete throwaway match with a dangerous spot which caused a woman to break her arm and it was all for nothing. The Free Live crew make fun of the red shirt security. Disturbingly, they make fun of Tracy Brooks straight after she's just broken her arm. Truth says he wouldn't hit that. They say Chris Harris looks like he was on a homosexual DVD and then it ends. Out come the red shirt security. When will they go? Who truly knows? They take on America's Most Wanted, and this match will determine the #1 contenders for the tag belts. Not sure where all the other random tag teams sit in the rankings. It was at this point I couldn't take the red shirt security any longer and I fast forwarded. I'm sorry, but I have really tried to accept these people. I've probably sat through 20 of their matches and I don't think I enjoyed a single one. They aren't that bad in terms of ring work, but I couldn't care less about a security team. And anyway, why are 2 security guards ranked almost at the top of the tag team division? James Storm botches a top rope dive which causes him to screw his shoulder up and he'd be off television for a couple of months. He actually toughs the rest of the match out though and even takes an overhead suplex into the corner. He does a sunset flip powerbomb too. I guess the adrenaline kicks in sometimes. Legend hits him with a bad looking suplex from the top. The red shirts botch a move on James Storm. Really not James Storm's night. Harris has it won but there's no ref. Randomly, the Naturals rush the ring. One of them throws powder in Harris's eyes and the other decks him with a steel chair. Yay, more jobber tag teams. The red shirts win, and now they are the #1 contenders for the tag belts. Well, that's one match in the future that I can skip. James Mitchell and the Gathering threaten the Sandman. They say he has a mystery partner next week, but Mitchell doubts that that'll be Raisin. Punk begs him to bring Raisin though. This guy's come on leaps and bounds in the promo department. They hardly even let Julio speak anymore. Cowass is in the ring screaming about Eric Watts. I don't care about either of these men or who is running this damn company. He eventually brings out Johnny Fairplay, the most hated man in America because he was on the stupid Survivor program. He looks like Ronald McDonald on crack. He insults the crowd for a bit. They chant, "Who are you?" It wouldn't surprise me if they actually didn't know who he was. I only know him because of TNA. But then again, the Hawk has proven in the past that he's not very knowledgeable when it comes to celebrities because I only care about myself. But this guy will be sticking around in TNA. Mercifully, AJ Styles interrupts his promo. AJ Styles asks, "Who are you?" I personally despise anybody who got fame from reality TV shows or just because they're hot. I'm probably just jealous, but I do respect hard work. Not being in the right place at the right time. AJ calls him Carrot Top on acid. He wants a world title shot and drastically throws the chair to the mat. Fairplay calls him Hillbilly. He admits that he doesn't know who AJ is either. Fairplay continues putting himself over. Kawas asks AJ to leave the ring because it's not his promo time. AJ starts attacking Kawas, but Fairplay squashes him with a chair. He blocks a second attack and he just powerbombs Johnny Fairplay. Well, at least that bit was enjoyable. ICP are finally acknowledged by the commentary team. They're having a great time in there, it seems. The main event will be Slapnuts taking on El Leon in a street fight. Not exactly a riveting main event, but maybe TNA's trying to get 3 wrestlers injured on one show. Mike Tenay shoves Jarrett into a fence. It's just a bunch of mindless weapon shots with zero creativity. We do have crowd brawling because every Jeff Jarrett match must have crowd brawling. ICP shower Jeff with drink. Tenay gets into it with Jarrett again. El Leon has Slapnuts beat multiple times, but Jarrett has the acoustic equalizer. He wants to unmask El Leon when AJ makes the save. The match is just thrown out. I thought it was no DQ. Abyss saves Slapnuts from AJ, and the show goes off the air with Abyss throwing AJ out of the ring and through a table. Tenay soils his nappy with anger and the show goes off the air. Jesus Christ. I know it's going to get better soon, and I can almost feel things changing in TNA, but getting there is not an easy process. Every storyline somehow leads back to Jeff Jarrett. The roster sucks, the tag division is boring, the security teams are driving me insane, nobody is over, and I just don't like it very much.